Hi there, please feel free to tip me a minimum of $2. I personally assure you that your contribution will go directly toward feeding children in need. Here's my satirical movie recap, keeping the original meaning intact while adding irony and commentary. Cotton Weary, now upgraded from wrongly accused man to successful talk show host, because trauma apparently boosts TV ratings, receives a call from Ghostface, who, like any persistent telemarketer, demands information about Sidney Prescott. Cotton refuses, proving he has at least some survival instincts, which immediately fail, as Ghostface kills him and his girlfriend anyway. Moral lesson: in horror movies, cooperation is optional, death is not. Detective Mark Kincaid informs Gail Weathers, who instantly senses both danger and a career opportunity, and heads to Hollywood. There, she reunites with Dewey Riley, now working as a technical advisor on Stab 3, a movie based on the very murders they are still trying to survive, because nothing says respect for victims like turning their trauma into a film franchise. Ghostface, clearly unhappy with inaccurate casting choices, begins eliminating the Stab 3 actors, starting with Sarah Darling. Production halts, much to the frustration of director Roman Bridger, who is less concerned about the murders and more about his shooting schedule, true artistic dedication. The remaining cast gathers at Jennifer Jolie's house, where Ghostface continues his aggressive critique, killing her bodyguard and blowing up co-star Tom Prince in a gas explosion that definitely violates multiple safety regulations. Meanwhile, Sidney Prescott is living off the grid under an alias, working as a crisis counselor, ironically helping others deal with trauma while her own life is basically a never-ending horror sequel. Ghostface tracks her down and begins tormenting her using the voice of her deceased mother, because apparently this killer believes emotional damage should be as personalized as possible. Realizing hiding is no longer working, it never does, Sidney heads to Hollywood. Gail and Jennifer uncover a dark backstory. Sidney's mother, Maureen Prescott, aka Rena Reynolds, had a troubled past involving Hollywood exploitation and assault, proving once again that this franchise runs on secrets, scandals, and deeply uncomfortable family histories. Just when things couldn't get more meta, Randy, despite being dead, returns via videotape to explain the rules of a horror trilogy. His key point: in the third film, all bets are off and anyone can die. Translation: even plot armor is on vacation. Sidney is attacked again, because personal space is not a concept Ghostface respects, and the police try to protect her, historically not their strongest skill. Meanwhile, Dewey, Gail, and the remaining cast attend a party at producer John Milton's mansion, which is basically an invitation for chaos. Ghostface obliges by killing most of the guests and kidnapping Dewey and Gail, because multitasking is important. Sidney arrives for the grand finale, where Ghostface finally reveals himself as Roman Bridger, the director, because of course the killer is the one controlling the narrative. He dramatically explains that he is Sidney's half-brother, born from their mother's assault, and that his entire murder spree is essentially a very extreme reaction to rejection and jealousy. He even takes credit for indirectly causing the original Woodsboro murders, because in this universe, everything is connected if you try hard enough. Sidney, understandably unimpressed by his villain monologue, calls out his excuses as self-serving nonsense. Roman responds with a full emotional breakdown and attempts to kill her, leading to a brutal fight where Sidney proves, once again, that she is the least killable person in horror history. She stabs him multiple times, and when he still gets back up, because horror villains treat death like a suggestion, Dewey finally ends things with a bullet to the head, thankfully embracing a more permanent solution. In the aftermath, Dewey proposes to Gail, who says yes, because surviving multiple murder sprees is apparently a solid foundation for marriage. Sidney, now slightly more at peace, returns home and leaves her front gate open, symbolizing growth, healing, and possibly a very questionable approach to security. When the wind blows her door open, she simply ignores it, because after everything she's been through, Even potential danger has become background noise. Hi there, please feel free to tip me a minimum of $2. I personally assure you that your contribution will go directly toward feeding children in need.